This is my second time recording this video because the first time I did, I had pasta sauce on my lip, which is definitely suboptimal. So I'm often asked what camera I use, and the answer is I use several, all for various different occasions, so I thought in this video I could run you through them. My phone camera is the one that I use most often for casual photography, especially when I'm out on bike rides where carrying a camera would be impractical. It's an iPhone 12 Pro. I use the standard camera app and I tend to edit the photos in Lightroom, and it's alright. You know, I hate the artificial sharpening, but it's definitely good enough for Instagram. Now, my Fuji X100V is my favorite camera. You know, if I'm going somewhere where I assume that I want to take photos, then this is the camera I'm going to take. It's small, it has a fixed 23mm f2 lens, and it's essentially become an extension of my body at this point. I've used it so much that when I lift up the camera, I know exactly what the photo is going to look like. So it means I can capture moments really intuitively. I don't have to think about it too much. You see, I'm not that into photography, but I am into composition and the way that light interacts with environments and the subject. So I just leave my lens at f2, everything else stays in full auto mode, and I focus on finding nice frames and interesting light. And those are my two stills cameras. Those are the only stills cameras that I own. Filming wise, I guess we should start with the one that I'm using right now, which is the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, which stays in this position permanently. This is its permanent home, and that is because I'm far too lazy to set everything up when I want to start filming a video. And that seems like a bit of a shame because it's a lovely camera that produces absolutely gorgeous footage that I've used on a number of different shoots. The only thing that's bad about it is the battery life. I remember when we were shooting A Life from the Ocean with it in the Philippines, I had 14 batteries with me because each battery only lasts about half an hour, which does make it quite difficult to use on proper productions. I bought an original Pocket Cinema camera about a year and a half ago on eBay, and I use it pretty much solely as a dad cam. I mean, I'm not a dad, but I film like a dad would. I use it pretty much only to shoot home videos, but it's got full HD raw footage that comes out of it. It's got 13 stops of dynamic range, and it just has this really beautiful organic look to it that I absolutely love. And I have actually used it on a couple of projects emulating film cameras like Super 8 cameras and Super 16 cameras. Which reminds me, I actually do own a Super 8 camera. It's called a Canon 512, and I've used it once to film a holiday in Barcelona, and it cost £200 for me to get the film developed, which is a very expensive holiday video, but it looks so good and it looks so nostalgic, and I would definitely like to use this on a project someday. My Pocket 6K Pro comes with me on most shoots. It's an incredibly powerful camera in its own right. I shot Rhythm with it, which I really love the look of that film, and I still use it quite often on slightly more casual projects or on documentary films, but for the most part I use it as a B camera. Generally it's permanently rigged onto my Movi, so we can just pick it up and capture tracking shots or gimbal shots when required without the faff of having to put the camera onto the gimbal, balance it, and go through all that nonsense. The 6K B-roll matches up really nicely with my URSA Mini Pro G2, and I'm always really happy with the way the footage looks coming out of this camera. And finally, we've got the URSA Mini Pro G2. Now, this has been my workhorse for around about the past 2 years, and I mean, firstly, it's just a beautiful image. You know, you've got so much data, you've got so much dynamic range, and you have a really nice organic looking image. There's no surprises when you throw that footage into the editing software. You know that the skin tones are going to be good, you know that everything is going to be sitting where it's supposed to be sitting. But outside of the image quality, the ergonomics of it just work really well, especially when you're working on crews and you're building up bigger rigs for the camera. You know, you've got all the correct ports, you've got all of the correct buttons, and things are in the right place, and you can set up Teradeks and you can set up follow focus motors without having to jerry rig or bodge things. Now, I have absolutely no intention of changing any of my cameras with the current market. I'm very happy with where I sit. Maybe if they released an Ursa LF, that would be something I would consider, but for now, I'm sticking with it. So to round things up today, I just want to ask you, what cameras are you shooting on? Is it your phone? Do you have an Alexa Mini? I'd love to hear it. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya!